Triquetra, 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 however you're meant to pronounce it, these three-petal anti-spin flowers went from an idle curiosity for poi geeks to one of the most recognizable poi tricks on the planet. I mean, seriously, it is actually kind of a cliche at this point to make your profile photo a Triquetra. You know who you are. I did it too. Drex here from DrexFactor.com, and today is all about Triquetras, what they are, what they're good for, and how to learn them. Please sign up for my notification squad by hitting the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you know exactly when I drop a new video. And of course, before we dive in, I just want to send a massive shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Toys, LMF Props, Spinballs, and UltraPoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn all about these wonderful companies by following the links that I've got down in the description of this video. So, Triquetra, a big name that replaced an even bigger name. When I first learned how to do these, they were just three-petal anti-spin flowers. I learned to do them by putting them together out of linear extensions. You can actually see how I did this by checking out the linear extension tutorial series that I did and that I'll link to up in the cards. You can use similar techniques to learn how to do a variety of other shapes too. But somewhere around about 2009, folks started calling them Triquetras. Triquetras are a symbol made up of three overlapping circles that appears in pre-Christian Celtic and Germanic art, as well as Japanese art. And to be fair, the two shapes do appear really similar. They look a lot more alike than weaves and butterflies look like the things that they're named after. But they also only superficially resemble each other. Mathematically, you can actually draw a Triquetra with poi, and if you'd like to know why, I've got a whole blog entry on the topic that I'll link to down in the description. But all that said, Triquetras are super useful. The reason for this is baked into their asymmetry. Unlike four-petal anti-spin flowers, Triquetras can only reflect along one axis. That means that if you pair them up with a single beat trick like a static spin or an extension, that in some spots the poi are spinning in split opposites, and in others they're spinning in together opposites. That actually makes them a great tool for switching timing and direction as you spin. They're also one of the most popular patterns that we use for creating poi hybrids. Some great examples include static versus Triquetra, extension versus Triquetra, which was called the Mercedes when I first learned it, and pendulum versus Triquetra, among many, many more. So let's dive in and see how to create these patterns then, shall we? We start off with a tool that I've used in a lot of tutorials before. Linear isolations. It's a big name, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Spin your poi clockwise on the left side of your body, and as the poi spins down towards your feet, slide your hand out to the side and let the poi drop down your center line. This should more or less bring the poi to a stop for now, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Now you're going to continue to slide your hand out to the right, and as you do so, you're going to tug upward on the tether. You want to get your hand all the way over to the right with your poi spinning clockwise around it once again. So the idea here is to drop the poi down your center line and let the hand sneak above it, passed over to the right. The whole time the poi will be spinning clockwise. Make sense? Cool, so going back to the left, I want you to simply drag the poi underneath your hand, and again, give the tether a small tug to get the poi spinning around your hand clockwise again. Altogether, you're going to dip the poi as your hand goes to the right, and drag it underneath your hand as you go to the left. This is going to be a 2-beat move, which means you should be able to count the poi spinning twice as you perform it. Think down to the right, down to the left, down to the right, down to the left. You'll want to do this until you can reliably go back and forth 10 times in a row. Now we're going to make the hand go up and down in addition to side to side. When you dip the poi down, your hand is going to follow it down towards your waist. And when you drag the poi under, you want to bring your hand high enough that you can drag it past your eyeballs. So, dip towards your hips, drag past your eyeballs. Dip towards your hips, drag past your eyeballs. So if you can get these up and down movements in, then congratulations, you're performing a Triquetra. Well done. You should be doing a Triquetra with one petal pointed down and two up near your shoulders. Think of it as being almost like an arrow or triangle pointed downward. You can also tweak this exercise just slightly and also use it to learn a Triquetra with the odd petal pointing up. To do this, start with your hand over to the right and pop your poi head up your center line while your hand sneaks underneath it. Then you're going to let your hand and poi race each other back over to the right as the poi goes over the hand. So think, pop to the left, sweep to the right. Pop to the left, sweep to the right. Then you'll pop your hand up with the poi to the left and bring your hand down past your hips as you sweep the poi back over to the right. This is the upward pointing Triquetra. Ta-da! Sometimes this version of the Triquetra is a little bit trickier because gravity isn't helping you out as much as it is in the downward pointing version. But once you get a feel for each one, you'll find that matters less and less over time. Outstanding! Now I'd love to see your version of this trick. Post it to Instagram with the hashtag DrexFactorPoi. I'm looking forward to seeing some beautiful Triquetras out there. And if you're interested in learning more things that you can do with Triketras, be sure to check out my Beyond the Basics course on my learning site at learn.drexfactor.com. There, I'll take you through several different types of polyrhythm hybrids that you can perform with these, in addition to a host of other intermediate level tricks. Now, before I set you guys loose, I just want to send out a massive thank you to all of my wonderful supporters on Patreon. Your support is what keeps this channel alive, and quite frankly, what allows me to keep on making these videos. If you'd like to sign up to support the work that I do, please head on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi, and thank you so much in advance.